Shamaya, you did it.
STL Music.
Welcome back to the show. So listen up, we back in the game. Sweet believe we got the flame. Motivated to the fullest every single day. We wake up, get it in every way. Rockin' it 222 in the global inspiration. Talk this sports and top news, no hesitation. Sweet the league is back. We always coming back, that's a fact. Wanna tell them that STL Music, remember we did it, where we at. Coach Jill in the house with the flow so tight. Every rocks, that's we unite. The best show, Monday through Friday. If this ain't different, they lying. We got the energy. When I say sweep, you say the league. Sweep the league, sweep the league, sweep the league, sweep the league. San Antonio, let's go. Sweep the league. Sweep the league. Sweep the league. San Antonio, let's go.
Hey, it's Rain Fernandez, and you're watching Sweep the League. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and Facebook at Rain Fernandez, Rayne Fernandez.
Hi, it's Sherilyn, and you're watching Sweep the League TV. Follow me on Instagram at official Sherilyn for more content.
Hey, this is George Iceman Gervin, and you're listening to Sweep the League Radio.
It's Sweep the League TV where legends collide. If the Cowboys fall short, we'll still ride the tide. Like Jordan in the clutch or Brady's last play. We bring the fire, keeping fans in the fray. Gio and Rudy calling the shots with Derek Coventry, Hall of Fame thoughts. So hit that subscribe, don't sit on the bench. Get in the game, every highlight's intense. The live stream's on till your friends don't delay. Like Kobe in the fourth, we're here to play. Sweep the League TV, where greatness resides. From the bronze epic drives to Mahomes on the rise. We're all in on sports, NBA, CFB, and more for fans. Live fans, it's the show you'll adore.
From the San Antonio Spurs, Victor Wembanyama.
Yes, indeed.
Another first-time All-Star in his second season. 24 a night is number 16. 11 rebounds is number 8. He leads the league in blocks with 4 a game. 10 games of 30-plus, 3 games of 40. Had 50 against Washington. He was fourth by the players, fourth by the fans, second by the media, and the coaches have selected Vic to be
Well-deserved.
All right, welcome to the Thursday Throwdown edition of Sweep the League. Rudy Campos Jr. coming to you from Sweep the League Studios here in San Juan, Antonio, Texas. And man, do I look huge in this picture. This is a big picture right here. Taking up the entire screen. That's crazy. Well, as you saw, Victor Wembanyama named All-Star reserved, as we said that he would make the All-Star team. We're going to get into that. Also go over the All-Star lineups, the full lineups now as the reserves have been mentioned. Who got snubbed? Maybe who deserved a spot, maybe who didn't deserve a spot. I mean, we're going to go through all that list as well as ask a guest. We have a Hall of Famer again with us tonight, and it's not Derek Gervin. A Sweep the League Hall of Famer joins us back again tonight. A blast from the past, not too long ago, but a blast from the past will be joining us here in just a minute. But we're also going to talk more about De'Aaron Fox coming to San Antonio. A lot of you guys still out there worried about Stephon Castle. See if we can make some people mad tonight. What do you think? Should we bring him on? Let's go ahead and bring him on back onto the show. And it is the one, it is the only Coach Gio with the return. And let's see if he turns his mic on, because I doubt if he does. He's
Hello. I'm back in the flesh. I do exist, Rudy.
You're back in the flesh. Yeah, that's the thing is, man, everybody's like, where's Gio? I'm like, he's working. So I promised people that I would make sure that we sent a full year's pay your way via Cash App. We did. It was the last blood I could give for the month. So I gave it, got the money, put it all in the bank, and I sent it to you. You're back, man. At least for the night, you're back for one night right now.
I'm back, and I told y'all, don't think I forgot. The Kansas City Chiefs are in the Super Bowl already. And I told Derek, Derek's not here to defend himself. But all I heard all season, all I had to hear from Derek was the Bills and Josh Allen. It's time. It's time. I said, Derek, hold the horses, Derek. I got to see it to believe it. Until you beat Kansas City and the refs, I got to be able to see it, Rudy. And so far, a three-peat. We talked about earlier in the season, Rudy. I didn't think they would have an opportunity. I just think the wheels would fall off somehow, some way. And Rudy, they're back in the Super Bowl again. I believe last time I checked was a 1-point favorite. I like their chances in this game, but it could be tough. It could be the toughest opponent yet. San Francisco was really good, but man, it's Saquon flying high.
Saquon flying high. I'm not too interested in this Super Bowl, I guess is what it is, but I am watching because I really have been saying I really feel Saquon Barkley deserves a ring. He's a good guy in the league. He went through a lot with the Giants. The guy deserves a ring, man. I mean, you can't deny that.
Listen, it would be a great story, Rudy, but any chance to just bury Tom Brady in my head even further down? If Patrick Mahomes, if he gets to 3 straight here, Rudy, 4 overall, he's creeping up there.
Well, what did you put him ahead of Brady? I mean, no one's ever done a three-peat.
I think Tom's obviously longevity, I think, is obviously him playing for so long. But the GOAT conversation, Patrick gets to 4. I think he'll get there, whether it's this year or another season. But 4 Super Bowls, 3 straight, Rudy, would be. I don't want to put him over Tom yet, just because of the longevity factor. But man, he's definitely on his way to being the GOAT.
Yeah, we're definitely see. We're just going to see what happens in the offseason, because one of your boys that we're going to talk about, not now, we'll talk about it later on in a few months, but one of your boys, Cooper Kupp, is probably not going to be a Ram after this past season. So
yeah, no, he's
gone.
kind of been phased out of that offense. There was that rumor that he could end up in Kansas City. They end up getting Hopkins instead, but I didn't get a chance to talk. But shout out to the Rams. They showed up in that Philly game. They showed up. Unfortunately, Saquon showed up as well, and then that darn snow, which was raw. Jared Verse, man, he's really that kid's only gonna get better.
I know. Imagine if Aaron Donald hadn't retired too soon.
Too soon. It would have been the best defensive line he ever played with. No disrespect to Fowler and Lloyd and all these other guys that have played, but it sucks. But shout out to the Rams. I thought they had a good season, starting off 1-4, and had a chance there at the end there, Rudy.
Yeah, they did. They really did. Shout out to the Rams, and the Bulldogs went.
Oh man, you had to bring up my.
I had to bring it up. We haven't talked in forever. It's been forever.
Georgia, they should have beat Notre Dame. There's so many things about that game that I now am remembering. Did you recall that player, Rudy, who was decided to be on the field instead of behind the line, and we got a 15-yard penalty? That player who was literally the back. That was a really disappointing. To lose to Notre Dame to me was disappointing. But now you have 50 teams in the playoffs. It's anyone's game. So.
Man. Hey,
and Oregon got killed. So
yeah, shout out to Indiana too. They'll be back next year. Funny, right? The only 2 teams that Indiana lost to were in the national championship game.
Hey, you know what? I talked to my friend Greg about this. I said, ironically, those 2 teams that Indiana lost to were in the national championship. So Indiana wasn't completely far off. They have a pretty good team coming back. I'm excited to see what they do and continue to build the fan base. In Georgia, please get some receivers because I think they were top 5 in drops last season, which I think they did. They got the 2 kids from USC. I forgot their names, but the Dogs didn't play well.
Well, there's always next season. As we're finally catching up with Coach Gio, he was on hiatus. He's back at least for tonight. We'll try to get him on a couple more times.
Texas, I forgot about. You said it, Rudy. You said they were going to win the whole thing,
Do
and
we have a commercial break coming up here in the next second or two? I think. Let me see. Yeah, I did call Texas, and I had Texas the entire way, all the way up until they lost, obviously to Ohio State. But, yeah, Sark mismanaging games. I should have probably have expected it. Didn't I should have expected that to happen. It's Sark. I mean, big game. Now Ryan Day saved his job 100%. Because we did say that if he didn't make the college football national championship game, he would be fired.
but
Other rumors.
as I've said, I said this about the Dodgers. You should have won it all. You had the highest payroll. I mean, do we want me to pat you on the back, Ryan Day? Your team should have been here to begin with. And also, Ryan Day, you might want to lay off the black stuff on your beard, but something seems a little off there, man.
Talking to Coach Gio, he's back. Derek Gervin's going to be back next week. Again, go to YouTube. Go to YouTube, search Sweep the League TV, smash that subscribe button. We've got a lot. STL 316, The Big Show, Sweep the League TV. You've got we got Sweep Unplugged. We had Fight Insight podcast, MMA podcast with Timmy B, Bez Boys podcast. We've got Grading the Market, as you can see. Jacob, Eric, and Anthony will be back tomorrow. Also, I believe myself and Matt Schilling from Sports Illustrated Collectibles should be back tomorrow as well. So tons of stuff coming up this weekend. All the podcasts released. Fight Insight podcast that came out earlier today with Timmy B, all a part of the Refocus Network and Sweep the League Network family. So shout out to Tim. He's saying LaMelo Ball got robbed. Yeah, it's one guy. I think Gio got a new contract, and yeah, he did. And Rudy went to the college basketball. I think we're going to save college basketball till March, man. For right now, we may get a little bit of college basketball here. I'm trying to get Ben Bornstein to come on, talk a little college basketball with us. So give us a little bit of time here, man. But first and foremost, man, we played the Wimby All-Star clip. Victor Wembanyama is an all-star. Finally. Could he have made it last year? Sure, he could have made it last year, but what's a year late? He's going to be Defensive Player of the Year this year, which he should have been last year. He's already an all-star, named to the all-star reserves, which he should have been last year. Should have been a starter, and I made the case this past week and actually last week when the starters were announced that you need to quit the popularity when it comes to LeBron James and Steph Curry. LeBron James is nowhere near all-star starter, but because he's popular, he got the nod over Victor Wembanyama. So nonetheless, Victor is named the all-star for the San Antonio Spurs. Thoughts on that, Gio, as far as Victor being an all-star for San Antonio?
In the words of LeBron, it's about damn time, right? Like this guy, Rudy, the face of San Antonio international basketball. Well, this year the team has an opportunity. We'll see in that second half of the season if they can make a nice little potential get in the playoffs. But I'm happy for Victor. He deserves it, and maybe his other teammate that might come here from Sacramento. I mean, I'm not sure why he didn't make it. Right, Fox.
No, this is the list. We have the list on the screen.
25 points a game. He didn't make it, Rudy.
Well, no. I mean, you got to remember on the West, it's pretty loaded. You're leaving off guys like Devin Booker. He was left off that list. So Bonus is another one that was left off. I think John Morant kind of deserved it, but he only played like 28 games. So I think he definitely does, you don't take him, but Jaren Jackson Jr. is the lone representative for the Memphis Grizzlies. I mean, I'm not upset with the West at all. I'm okay with it. I do understand Devin Booker not making it. I mean, I think he's not having a better year than Anthony Edwards and James Harden. I get Jalen Williams. I mean, your number one team in the West. You've got to be represented more than with SGA. So I definitely understand that. But also other guys that made it. Anthony Davis, like mentioned, Alperen Sengun, and of course Victor Wembanyama rounding out the West. And
James Harden, man, the elder statesman, Rudy.
Harden.
He's making it. He's played well this year. I mean, I'm not completely. It's just so many good players, Rudy, that you're just bound to leave guys off. I mean, Sacramento.
Yeah.
Maybe Rudy, it's
Yeah.
because they're in Sacramento. I mean,
Who knows, man? Who knows? Gio, LeBron shouldn't be there as a starter. Save his ass as a reserve. That's what I said. He should have been a reserve.
I don't. Listen, at this point, Rudy, you need to figure something out. And I know the commissioner was on a radio show talking about what 4 10-minute quarters. The All-Star game also needs to be looked at in voting perspective. This needs to stop. I mean, you got guys in here. Listen, LeBron's great. We get it. All the time, leading scorers and all that. He should not be a starter. He just shouldn't.
No, he definitely should not be a starter at all, man. That is wild to know that he's a starter. But again, it's a popularity contest, man. LeBron, Curry, and KD should have been in the All-Star game. Now, I've heard the same thing echoed a lot, but I don't have a problem with Kevin Durant being a starter. I really don't. I mean, Kevin Durant deserves it. LeBron and Curry don't deserve it. And people say, well, hey, it's Steph Curry. Well, his team's not even in the play-in. They're a game above 500, and they're sitting at the 11th spot.
And Durant's been averaging, I think, 26, 27 again. I mean, he's putting up points, man. He's there. The Warriors might not even sniff the playoffs, Rudy.
Probably not. They may not make it at all unless they make a deal by next Thursday. Luka's not in it. Luka has been injured pretty much all season, so definitely not going to see Luka in there. If a Laker needs to be in there, put AD in there. KD stats still hold up. Yeah, that's what we're saying. So is that KD deserves that starting nod. I totally get it. If LeBron doesn't make it as a starter, I don't mind Anthony Davis, but as it is, Anthony Davis is injured, so no telling if he's even going to play in the All-Star game. I think Victor should have got the nod over LeBron, but again, it's a popularity contest, and we all know who it is. Sith Lord Elias, man, he's getting ready to do. They're doing their wrestling thing. When it's announced, we'll let everybody know, but they're going to be revamping Down for the Count, him and Brandon Medina. So he's been a great help with STL 316. You may see him on a couple of times with STL 316, but for right now, they're going to be ramping up Down for the Count. They're going to get that going. Once they do, we're going to announce that for everybody. So you can tune into another wrestling podcast as they hold their own over there for Down for the Count, Brandon Medina and Sith Lord Elias, or the Doctor of Style Sith. Moving over to the East Coast, Gio, a coast that you know very well, being that you lived in the East Coast. You're a Bronx boy. You're in the Florida area. I think this is the most central you've been, right? Where you currently are right now.
Yeah, pretty central. Yeah, I grew up in New York, so I get a feel for that. Knicks, Yankees, and sometimes the Mets when they want to show up. The Eastern Conference, really. I mean, I don't know. It's you look at the West, and it's like you got some of these dudes. Cade's had a really good year, man. I really like what they're doing in Detroit, Rudy.
Definitely. You remember when I told Derek that they were going to be a team to watch this year?
You did.
And Derek was like, no, they're still a year or two off. I'm like, watch. They're literally a big man away from being really, really good. And there's a couple of big men out there they can go get. But Cade's good. Tyler Hero, I don't get.
And that's what I'm looking through this list, and I'm like, no. I mean, LaMelo should be on this. He should.
28.
And if you want to give Zach LaVine, I'll throw his hat in there.
28 a game for LaMelo Ball. 4th in the league in scoring. I think he 8 assists a game, top 3.
Rudy, is this the same thing as the Kings? I said, is it just a market? I mean, I don't know if it's just a market thing, but
I don't know.
Rudy, in baseball, don't they make every team have at least one representative? If I'm not mistaken. I mean, obviously this is a little bit different, but
every team gets represented.
You got to put him in there, man. Listen, and I think Hero's a really good player, but come on, really?
I kind of get where Tim's coming from about Dame. Yeah, Dame's another one you can probably replace. But Tyler Hero, for me, even even Pascal Siakam. I mean, again, I'm not sure Pascal deserves it, but who else would you put in there? I mean, to be honest, I think Maxey deserves it from Philadelphia. I could make a case for him. He's keeping the 76ers afloat. So I mean,
yeah.
How Maxey didn't get in, I don't know. I mean, looking over some of the Eastern Conference guys that they could have easily got in somewhere in there. Oh God, I mean,
Well,
yeah.
Jared Allen's another interesting one, but I
told you they would get three. They would get three Cavaliers in, and the three that they got in were the ones that I figured. Jared Allen would have got in if he would have continued playing the way he did at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, he's kind of tailed off a bit.
Trae Young. How does Trae Young not make it? Leads the league in assists, dynamic scorer, keeping the Hawks afloat right now. I mean, they're going to be they lost 7 in a row as of today, so they're going downhill. But again, Trae Young's another guy you could look at. How is Orlando in the top 6? They don't have a representative. I mean, I really don't understand.
Oh yeah, you just being I forgot about that team, Rudy. They just don't have enough spots. You get to the point where every team these days has a guy, Rudy, for the most part, right? Someone's got to score the basketball, right? Like
yeah.
So do they? I mean, Rudy, how many reserves do they have?
7. So you got 12-man rosters. I think extending it to 15 would be good.
I would be fine with that. I would perfectly be fine with expanding this. So that way, look, there's some guys in some smaller, at least for this season, looks like, they should be able, even though Powell's been out, I mean, you still have
enough of him.
Yeah, I was saying, like, we saw enough of him.
I don't know. To me, it's mind-boggling how, I mean, you got the representatives from Cleveland, both Boston guys, which honestly, Jaylen Brown, I could maybe question that as well. I mean, he's been good this season, but I could question Jaylen Brown as well, being in the All-Star game.
Well, if Wagner didn't get hurt, Rudy, I mean, from the Magic, he definitely probably would have missed out too.
Yeah. I mean, you can go, like I said, you mentioned him earlier, you could go Zach LaVine. I mean, 24 a game. That would be one you can definitely go.
I'm not putting Hero down whatsoever. He's a good player. He's been having a really good season, but star power here, I just feel like I would rather have someone, either LaMelo get that spot or someone else.
Dude. I mean, LaMelo's 4th in the league in scoring at 28.2 points a game. Shai is representing. Giannis is representing. Nicola's representing. After that, Kevin Durant's in. Then it's Tyrese Maxey. We just mentioned him. I mean, Tyrese, I think he deserves an all-star nod. Tatum, Edwards, Brunson, Davis, and then Booker. So at least 8 of the top 10 scorers are represented in the all-star game. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. The coaches are the one that do the reserves. So, I mean, it's their choice, ultimately. But on the East side, Trae Young, LaMelo, Tyrese. I don't know. I mean, the one that got me is Pascal Siakam. That's the one that really got me. I mean, he's 36 in the league in scoring.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they're just trying to find because is he a 4? He's a
3, probably 3 or 4.
Yeah, he's kind of in that hybrid role.
Yeah.
I'm glad we definitely don't see Mr. Trust the Process over there in Philadelphia.
Man, have you seen that stat with Embiid?
Yeah.
He's played 463 games and he's missed 400 games or something.
Rudy, if this was the NFL, I find it hard to believe he would probably be on a team.
He wouldn't be on a team. There's no way he'd be on a team, man. It's a crazy stat. I mean,
And the comment he made about not playing back to backs or whatever he said.
Yeah.
Just, dude, don't say that. Just keep that in house. We don't need to hear that. His teammates had a bit of an issue. Remember, there was that report to him and Maxey were kind of not getting along to a certain extent. Look, at this point, Rudy, if I'm Philadelphia, I think I find a way to cut ways at the end of the season. I think it's time. Somebody will take him.
Well, yeah, somebody will. Well, you know what? We're gonna mention Joel Embiid here in just a little bit. Let me cue up the Spurs cheese mill line that we haven't done in a long time because we got some Spurs news that we want to get into from Jeff Garcia.
So, like, I hear about the Spurs this y Spurs that, y como que esto y esta, pero I never hear about the real Spurs chisme. Nine, por favor.
Thank you, Spurs Cheeseman girl. Jeff Garcia shared this earlier. And I shared it last night on Sweep the League when I was talking to everybody out there. I was actually on Locked On Spurs. That episode is going to be coming out tomorrow. You're going to see this kind of same talk as well. And I said that I shared it from Raul Dominguez, who covers the San Antonio Spurs. Shout out to Raul Dominguez. I saw it from him first. And I thought that's perfect because that's exactly what I was thinking. The ideal thing and the ideal package for Sacramento involves Steph Castle, also involves Keldon Johnson, and it both the 2025-2027 Atlanta first picks. So you're giving up 3 picks, 2 for sure, Chicago's first, because you don't know, the Bulls could really tank it the rest of the season. They trade Levine, they can go downhill. And that pick doesn't go to Sacramento, stays with Chicago. But this right here really ticks off a lot of people because of Steph Castle. I made that case last night. And I was like, okay, people are getting pissed off, Gio. You can't trade Steph. He's off limits. Before I go on to that same type of talk like I did last night, is Steph Castle off limits for you when it comes to De'Aaron Fox? I'm putting you on the spot.
This is a tough one for me. He's had, Rudy, dare I say, a pretty good season. I mean, I think he's played pretty well. I mean, he had that one game where he had like 27 against the Grizz. But Rudy, someone's got to go. I mean, okay, if not Castle, who?
Devin Vassell. It's either, okay, so the centerpiece that I said last night, this is the centerpiece. It's either Devin or Stephon Castle. It's one or the other. Devin makes them straight up competitive still right now. Because with Devin, that package deal looks like Devin, Trey Jones, maybe somebody else as well. And then you're adding Atlanta's picks, maybe another Spurs pick down the road. I think you would maybe put 3 unprotected picks in there somewhere if you're moving Devin. Now, if you're moving Stephon, then I would say 2 unprotected picks because if you think about it, Stephon Castle is probably going to be he's a lottery pick. So you're basically essentially getting that lottery pick ahead of time, knowing you've got Stephon. Now, Sacramento's in love with Stephon Castle. That came out today as well. They're in love with Stephon. That's who they want. But that's what I look at for both packages. If you got an idea.
And I like Houseford. Like I said, I thought he's had a pretty good year so far. And really, he's had some games offensive where you look, you said, okay, he could actually be a pretty good piece down the line. Now, Devin, really, I may go, now that I'm thinking about it, I may go down the line of putting Vassell then. Because I think the upside, he's younger. He was more of a defensive guy even coming in, right? So you go with someone who you can actually mold a little bit more. Vassell's a really good player, but it sounds like to me the Kings do not want Devin in this package deal. Probably prefer Castle at this point. So I actually might go along with what you just said. Probably Devin's the one who should. Keldon, I don't care. He can go. But
Oh yeah.
you know, if I sell that extra pick, but like the Hawks right now, Rudy. I mean, could you see them? Could you see them just flat out tanking the second half of the season? I mean,
They're not though. They're not trying to tank because they don't have a pick. But with Jalen Johnson going out for the year, their second best player.
Yeah.
And you already hear words of them trying to move Clint Capella, Bogdan Bogdanovic. So those guys are going to probably be moved out at the trade deadline. I mean, even if they tried to tank, they don't have anything to show for it. So I would say this. In my opinion, this is the point that I made last night. So maybe I can convince you because I've tried convincing a lot of people. And I'm going to tell you right now, majority, if not all, don't want to hear it. Everybody's tied to Stephon Castle. Everybody's tied to Stephon Castle. I get it. He was my number one prospect in the draft. The number one best prospect on Rudy Campos's board was Stephon Castle. I said he reminded me a lot of SGA. He had that kind of potential. Just give him time. Get to the basket, can develop a jump shot. He can be a scorer. But when you're talking about De'Aaron Fox, perennial all-star, the potential to be an all-NBA type of player for years to come next to Wemby, you know what you're getting with De'Aaron Fox. With Steph Castle, we have a 44-game window on him right now. We've got tape on him for 44 games, roughly. Are we really do we really believe that we can see into the future and say Stephon Castle is going to be all NBA?
Well, that's not
all NBA.
That's a little unfair, right? I mean, all NBA is a pretty high order, but as you said, for De'Aaron Fox,
who's
as
already
I said, Rudy,
there,
someone's got to go. I like Castle a lot. You know, you could go back and forth, but I see your point. Devin has probably the more points. You're probably more win now, obviously, if Fox comes in. But I don't know, Rudy. I feel like I want to see it through with Castle. But
so do I.
I get your side too. I mean, but Darren's also 27, right? So, you know, he's still fairly in his prime, obviously. So if you have a chance to get him, you get him whichever way you can. So if that's Castle on the block, then you do it. But do you feel like if it's Devin, you don't make the trade, or you just say, hey, just do it?
Either way, Gio, you do it. Whether it's Devin, whether it's Steph Castle, you do it. Now, I'm gonna throw a little wrench here. You know what? Let's go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, I'm gonna throw the wrench in here, and I'm gonna make everybody feel that much better about having to move on from Stephon Castle, if need be. Can I convince you guys? We're gonna find out on the way back here. It is Coach Gio. He's back. See if we can get him back next week as well, but he is back for tonight. Derek Gervin will be back next week on the 4th. Rudy Campos Jr. here. Sweep the League. We'll be back in a little bit, you guys.
Wemby breaks NBA record, man. He ain't done yet. This guy is from out of this world. He's gonna be an alien. What is going on? Oh my goodness, this guy is really gonna be special. Ain't nothing to it. Wemby still lit. Wemby still lit. Wemby still lit. We got dreams, hit the fast lane. Took the stairs, real pain, no fear. We steady making it clear. I'm the captain, nice to meet you, but I make chess moves, no snooze. Bless you, we turning the impossible to possible. Doing what we do, call me Wemby alien. Flow too quick, you can't see me, just saying.
Some are born with silver spoons in their mouth. I was born without a house in the access of south in your mouth. Might get fixed and say some slick shit, but please know we known for fights and clips and shit we slick with. In story time I sound like Slick Rick, but the animals get mad at you, emotions turn tangible, and then I hope your cash can move, or fully automatic getting emptied out and taking half of you. Don't hold your nose.
You are watching Sweep the League TV. Make sure you subscribe and catch our new videos.
Sweep the League TV with Rudy, Derek, and Coach Kia. Let's get back to the live show. You are watching the best in the business.
All right, welcome back, Sweep the League. Kevin King is another one that we added to the Sweep the League network. You can find all of his music on the Refocus network, as well as we'll be spotlighting it on our Sweep the League network. Best way to do it is go to YouTube, search Refocus Network and Sweep the League TV. Hit subscribe on both of those networks. That way you are never left behind. Shout out to Kevin King. He's going to be a part of STL 316 Talk Wrestling as well. So, Gio, we were left off on this. And I said, you know what? A lot of people don't like the Steph Castle move. They fight. They don't want to lose him. You don't lose Steph Castle. We just got him. It's like the brand new car. You got the Porsche, and you're like, you know what? We're having a baby. We don't have room in the Porsche. We got to get rid of the Porsche. So what do we do now? Cool. Steph Castle's the Porsche. But here's the thing. With Steph Castle going, Gio, it's going to be Steph Castle, Keldon Johnson. Make the money work right there player-wise. You give Sacramento what they want. Sacramento's going to have to understand that if we give you what you want, we need to take something back. And that, in my opinion, is flipping the 2025 pick. You are telling Sacramento, cool, you get Steph Castle, but we keep Atlanta's 2025 pick. You can have our 2025 first round pick along with Chicago's. And you know what? We'll give you a 2031 unprotected Minnesota pick. So that, now that I say that, would you like that better, knowing you're going to get De'Aaron Fox? You lose Steph Castle, but you're going to get that Atlanta pick still with you.
That's the one.
Boom.
That's
Figured
the
it
pick.
out.
And you know what? We'll throw Zach Collins in there too, you know?
That's if anybody wants him. Man. Nobody wants Zach Collins.
No disrespect to Zach. But look, that would be sweet because that's the one I'm looking at, Rudy. If you can find a way to keep that pick, whoever it is, it could be a decent pick, but that's the one there. But as you said, Rudy, get Fox here in San Antonio, whatever which way you need to. Don't obviously break the bank, but this seems pretty reasonable for the most part to get him here. And then you keep Devin, Rudy. This is the team. Now you can say, okay, they should make a chance, at least get into the playoffs, at least.
Minimum. I mean, minimum would be play in, but they should have a good shot at the playoffs. Now, that's what I'm saying. I'm hoping to put everybody's, fears to rest, is the fact that if you give up Stephon Castle, you're hoping the front office is saying, we're giving you what you want, but we're going to keep that Atlanta pick.
What is up with that? The Spurs community, Rudy, and I get it. It's the only ticket in town, basically. There's some other sports teams, but it's the only really ticket in town. So they really, the drama always feeds off of these things. But no, look, if you get Fox in here, as I know Derek he's been chomping at the bit.
Before the draft, he had said De'Aaron Fox will be in San Antonio. And we were like, okay. And we believed him. And look at this now. I mean, comes out that it's going to happen. And whether he comes via trade or whether he comes via free agency in a couple of years or in the offseason, it doesn't matter. His destination is San Antonio. But shout out to Derek, man. I mean, he called it. He called it from day one. He called that thing.
Yeah. No, I think it makes a whole lot of sense. You got to surround your young star, Rudy, with talent. You have to continue to build. The days of building to the draft, it's a great story, Rudy, but you got to continue to build. And you get Fox in here, I think it's a great idea. I would do it in a heartbeat, but I'm not in the front office, so.
Well, I mean, that's the bad thing is that they wouldn't put you or I in the front office because we probably just make too much sense for things to happen, and that's why they wouldn't do it. So, I mean, the way you're looking at, I think that's what's going to ultimately happen to you. I feel like it's Sacramento's going to really want to take Stephon Castle. Spurs fans aren't going to like it, but in return, like I said, you're probably going to have to give up. You can even give up that Charlotte pick. That's what I would say. But you're definitely going to give up your own pick, which is the Spurs. Mention that 2025 or 2027. I'm going to throw that in there as well. We're going to see how that looks. And then you also want to give them that 2031 unprotected pick because that's going to look very sexy when it comes to everything. And I'm going to share this screen right here as I bring it over for everyone to check out. That's the deal right there, Gio. This is the ideal thing right here. For those y'all watching, you want to snapshot it. You want to, whatever you kids do, is it Snapchat or whatever, Gio? I don't know what they call it these days, but screenshot is what it is. Screenshot. You want to screenshot this, take pictures.
Well, in the words of Bill Belichick, he also said snap face.
So this is what ultimately the sweep the league deal would be for De'Aaron Fox that involves Stephon Castle. You would have De'Aaron Fox go to the Spurs, Stephon Castle, Keldon Johnson going to Sacramento. You give up your own 2025 first round pick. You give up your Chicago 2025 first round pick. Then you're giving up Atlanta's unprotected 2027 pick. And then you're giving your 2031 Minnesota unprotected pick. You're giving them 3 unprotected picks right there. You can add more second rounders. You can add a whole bunch more. But I think this right here, this is the deal. Send it in, Brian. Send it in. Sacramento should agree to this because you're giving them the player you want and you're not giving up a whole lot. I think this is it right here, Gio.
Oh, yeah. No, it's.
So do you feel good about Steph Castle now, getting rid of him, knowing you're going to keep that Atlanta pick?
Yeah, Rudy. Listen, I'm focusing on scoring. And who gives you the best chance to score? As we know, Fox is a scorer, Rudy. He puts the ball in the bucket. He's a playmaker. You put it in Wemby. We need results now. As we've talked about, Rudy, you can't keep not surrounding Wemby with talent. And as Castle's good, I would really love for him to stay if they can make it work, whatever the case may be. But if he goes, he goes. If Zach Collins goes, he goes.
I agree. I mean, Zach Collins, I think too what this does is it kind of frees up if you want to move Devin Vassell possibly as well. I mean, Zach LaVine maybe brings Zach.
I mean, that would be, I mean, if the Spurs doing all this, I mean, a championship in a few years, Rudy. I mean, I don't want to go too far, but what do you think it's going to take, though, Rudy, in the next 5 years of the Spurs to win a championship?
The first move is to get a young point guard. That would be De'Aaron Fox right there. After that, I would say, man, if you can keep Harrison Barnes longer, I think that'll be good. Julian Champagny, I think that'll be good. But what more is going to take? Probably free agency. Hitting some players in free agency. One thing that I will mention now is that if you think Oklahoma City is good now, I want to say next summer when Giannis is a free agent, you're going to probably see them throw the bank and the Brinks truck, back it up for Giannis because they've got so much draft picks, so much draft capital. I see them trying to get him.
They've done such a great job. Was it Sam Presti there, Rudy?
Sam Presti.
It's just, you look at what they've been building, then you're like, man, they just keep doing it and keep doing it. I mean, for the Spurs to win a championship, you obviously got to compete with them. Denver's still lurking around in the weeds there, right? They're not going anywhere. the
Yeah.
Timberwolves, the Spurs to get there, as you said, Rudy, free agency, unless you hit on a draft pick, right? Maybe you get a Kawhi Leonard again, or you can get a bunch of stuff, but I think it's going to be tough, but can be done if Victor takes a huge leap, Rudy. I'm saying 35 a game or 30, probably, but it's free agency, Rudy. And my biggest fear is, can San Antonio attract those free? And I think Victor would be enough. I think they have something now. I think they have a piece. Before Victor, Rudy, let's be real. I don't want to disrespect the city, but it's going to be hard, man, to attract free agents. It is what it is. But you got Victor there, people are going to want to play.
Totally agree. And it says at the bottom here, for those of you that are wondering what we have on our screen, the final trade package idea for Sweep the League is San Antonio sends Stephon Castle. Very unpopular, but like I said last night with Jerry West, the popular decision isn't always the right one. The right one's not always the popular decision. That's basically what Jerry West summed it up, said. It's not always the most popular one. But you're looking at San Antonio sending Castle and Keldon Johnson. But in return, because you're giving Sacramento exactly who they want in Steph Castle, you keep Atlanta's 2025 pick. So the chances of you getting into the lottery to get an Ace Bailey, a Cooper Flagg, a VJ Edgecombe, I mean, you have that potential to add another young guy similar to Stephon Castle. So you give them your 2025 Spurs first rounder, Chicago's first rounder in 2025, if it falls below pick 11 through 30. Then you give them ATL's 2027 unprotected, Minnesota's 2031 first, that's unprotected. All that goes to Sacramento for De'Aaron Fox. Now, if you move Devin, it would be Devin, Trey Jones. Then you would send them Atlanta's number 1 pick for this year, because essentially you're keeping Castle. So I think this is the final look for all you guys out there that want to screenshot that and give us hell on social media. You can do it right here. This is the final trade package that I think would get it done for the San Antonio Spurs. See what we got comments in here. Locked on Spurs is back, man. Geo Street are saying you got scared money to deal Castle and other assets for Sacramento, to Sacramento for Fox. Is it scared money that you don't want to trade Steph Castle?
I just want to see it through. The Spurs have had a pretty good success with certain players in the draft, Rudy, right? Growing in. That's what Jerry Jones always talks about, Rudy. He loves growing in his own players in house, yet he doesn't win any games. Speaking of Jerry Jones, not changing the subject.
Here we go.
We got to talk about that.
I'm going to let you rant.
We got to talk about Jerry later. But right now, the streets are a little scared because, man, I'm excited. He's been playing good. He's had a few games over 20. I don't know. I just want to see what Rudy was talking about pre-draft come into effect the next few years. So a little scared money, but hey, if you want to ultimately get what you have to get to, sometimes you got to make decisions. If I'm the Spurs, if he's part of that deal, he's got to go.
I agree with that. I mean, you want to make the best decision for the franchise. Totally get that. You want to make the best decision, and losing Steph Castle is super hard. I get it. Super hard. But you're getting an already all NBA potential player right now. And you're talking about De'Aaron Fox is in his prime. 4, 5, maybe 6 years more of prime De'Aaron Fox.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, you guys do it.
I'm not going to shit on Steph Castle. For 100%, I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to tell you this. Keldon Johnson probably has hit his ceiling. Devin Vassell is probably there right now. I mean, they both can improve a little bit more, but they're scratching already. I mean, you talked about draft picks. Josh Primo, done. Lucas Samanic, done. I mean, so drafting wise, they are blessed to have Steph Castle. But that's why I asked, do we feel like he's going to be all NBA? I know it's tough. It's super tough, but he's got 3 teams, first, second, third. Can he be an all-star? I think he can be an all-star. But who fits better? Fox and Wemby? Castle Wemby.
At their height, at least right now, what we know, Rudy, it's got to be Fox. I mean,
you would think, right?
People can argue, people can say this and that, but at the end of the day, what does your eyes tell you? Your eyes aren't lying. Rudy Fox is a better player, at least at this present moment. Castle could flourish, and Rudy, he probably will flourish with the Kings and what they have going on there. I know they fired their coach, which I thought was a terrible idea. But shout out to Doug Christie. He's doing a good job. But look, you got to make that call. And you got a guy who has, at least 5-6 more years, barring any crazy injuries or anything like that happening. I would go with that. You pair him up with your big, you continue to build, and you get this shit moving.
Complete. Says Rudy, are we overvaluing Fox? He's a one-time All-Star. Really hasn't led Sacramento something significant in postseason. Now, the All-Star nod, very tough, man. I mean, you're talking about the Western Conference. He's an All-Star all day, every day in the East. I mean, there's no doubt, but you're talking about a loaded Western Conference. I mean, think about it. You've got SGA, Steph Curry, Devin Booker, Anthony Edwards. I mean, the list goes on and on. LeBron James is going to get the nod over him majority of the time anyway. So, I mean, you've got a loaded Western Conference already. Yeah, I mean, you can say one-time All-Star. Okay, give you that much.
Well, Rudy,
are you overvaluing? Again, I hate to say this because, man, we're going to get a lot of crap. Well, I know I am. I turn it around. Are you overvaluing Steph Castle right now?
I mean, I think it's too early to probably tell. I mean, after a decent amount of games, but really, it goes back to actually what I remember what Reggie Miller once. I think it was Reggie or maybe Steve Smith back in the All-Star game in the 90s. There was already an automatic spot. You know who that is, Mr. Michael Jeffrey Jordan, Rudy. So the other guys are all fighting for one more spot, and I believe there was less spots back then, right? And you had a litany of all shooting guards who were really good. Unfortunately, Steve Smith, a lot of times, was the odd man out.
Yeah.
Smitty was a good player, Rudy. There's nothing against him, but I mean, there's only so many spots, and he plays again. I don't want to keep saying it, in Sacramento, California, which is Sacramento. That's all I'm going to say.
Sacramento is Sacramento. Cooper lands here. If Fox has 1.5 years left on the deal, why wouldn't the Spurs just wait until the offseason? Fox seems to have made it clear he wants to be a Spurs, so that should stop other teams right now, I think. Hit it right on the head right there. Now, Fox has one destination. They've made it kind of clear that he's going to sign an extension with 2 teams, Sacramento and San Antonio. Don't get it wrong. He signs the extension with Sacramento because he can get more money that way. But it's going to be a sign and trade if that would ever happen. But yeah, you could wait till free agency, but here's the part that you got to remember. A lot can happen between now and the summer of 2026, 2027. A lot can happen. He may have a change of heart. He may not want to be here. What if, the Spurs aren't exactly where, the team that he's figuring and hoping that they are to be? I mean, this is a good thing because I push it back to another person, Gio. This is the Kawhi Leonard situation all over again. Sacramento has a disgruntled star that doesn't want to be there. He wants to be home in Texas. His wife is from San Antonio. De'Aaron Fox played in Katy, which is just outside of Houston. It's the Kawhi Leonard thing again. And I'm going to say this. Kawhi wanted to go where? When he was a Spur? Back home. What did the Spurs do? We're sending you across the border.
Oh, Canada.
Exactly. You're sending him across the border. So then you had to wait because once he was done in Toronto playing that extra year, then he went to LA where he wanted to be. So you can wait But why wait? You have everything now. Take the waiting game out. That's what I say. Take the waiting game out. I love Cooper's comment, but can you really, really afford to wait 2 more years of De'Aaron Fox's prime, and he's not in San Antonio? I don't know if you can do that. To be honest with you, I don't know if you can do that right there.
Yeah, Rudy, this is everybody wants their grits in 5 minutes. I mean, this is a now situation. You could wait, but a lot can happen, and you might miss out on opportunity to grow your team, so to sense, or
True,
so to speak.
I want to ask you this, Rudy. Jeff is saying, Rudy, if another team swoops in and gets a deal for Fox, will that be an indictment on Wright? I mean, to be honest, Joe, if another team comes in and takes De'Aaron Fox, he's going to play it out and then come back to San Antonio anyway afterwards. It's like I said, the Kawhi Leonard situation. What do you think? Do you think another team will come in and snipe, what the kids call on eBay, snipe somebody, snipe the Spurs and take them off their shoulder, off their laps?
It's possible. I mean, we saw the Cleveland Browns pay how much, Rudy, for Deshaun Watson, and they were literally bidding against themselves because I don't think the Falcons were ever really in contention. So
never.
They end up signing a guaranteed contract and they're bidding against themselves. It's very possible. I wouldn't say an indictment, but look, what does the city want? Hope. Obviously, you have hope with Victor here, and you want to continue on spanning on that hope. You get Fox, that needle goes higher, and really you're able to attract potentially more stars to come to San Antonio. So I think it's a win-win, but it's very possible someone might swoop in and Spurs fans are being depressed again. So
yeah, shout out to Deshaun Watson mentioned here. Shout out to Justin Tucker. Yeah, his massage parlor thing is getting crazy.
I don't know the whole story about that. I'm like, oh Lord, I don't even want to read this article. Do you know some of it, Rudy?
I haven't read the article. From what I saw, there were 5 massage therapists that refused to work with Justin Tucker anymore. Apparently he wiggled his willy to knock the towel off of the massage table to basically expose himself. And then one other report had there's been multiple times where he's left some baby juice on the table itself. So
just a kicker?
Yeah. I mean,
didn't he not wait? Now I have to see it if this was like within the last year or so, because clearly he knows what happened.
So there was a post on X, which I know you're not on X anymore, but a person back in 2021 called this about Justin Tucker and that there were some issues coming out. Well, now it comes to fruition here. Justin Tucker diddling himself on the massage table.
Say it in so, Tucker, because this is not a good look. The NFL just literally went through this, and now. So things, Jeff. Apparently, it's happened years ago, and it's not coming out. I mean, look, the P. Diddy thing. Well, that also happened currently and years ago. So I guess that's not something we could talk about. But yeah, this is very interesting. Why now? We just got to get more information because we all know there's also the Joy Taylor Skip Bayless
we were
thing.
trying to talk about that. Yeah, we tried to talk about that.
Has kind of been on a little bit of hush hush. I haven't really heard much about it. I know you're in the streets on these days, so maybe you've heard, but Skip Bayless is still working as usual. So
nothing's changed.
Yeah, so nothing's changed just yet. But Tucker, come on, brother. What Rudy, what I think this is some sort of fetish. It's a arousal, I guess you could say.
You try to do the helicopter. Oh God, can never ever hang around our Soup the League nation here, man.
Well, we have roots with Rated R, so we can really go on this
God.
but we'll keep that PG.
If we could only relaunch the Rated R show, that I think we would probably have a couple of thousand people in the stream every single time. The Rated R show was it was just like we called it, the Rated R show. It was bad. It was bad from back in the day, man. Nonetheless, we'll get more into Justin Tucker as more comes out. You made mention about the Joy Taylor thing. That kind of came and went already. So it seems like something big happens, then it goes away. I don't know why.
Well, Rudy, as I've told some of my friends, the Joy Taylor thing was as if that was just added on, like as like a last remark. I don't change my opinion. I don't really care, and I think most people probably don't care as well. I know she has a lot of empowerment things she says, so maybe there's some contradicting. But at the end of the day, Rudy, people will forget about this, and I've honestly forgot about this whole thing until I just came on the show. But yeah, we'll find more information on Tucker. There's probably going to be an ESPN 30 for 30 coming out. So P. Diddy has like two. There's the downfall of P. Diddy on I think HBO Max, and then there's another one as well on P. Diddy. Even though we haven't even scratched the surface on that, Rudy.
No, we haven't, and I think we may have to do an after dark show when it comes to P. Diddy and all that great stuff here on the diddling side of things, man. But nonetheless, we've talked to everybody here about De'Aaron Fox. We talked to you about the All-Star reserves being named. Super Bowls next week. Got to get Gio back in for some Super Bowl talk. We've also, I need to put it out here now. Are we covering both drafts again for the first round? Will you be ready for both drafts?
That's a lot of talking, but I'll be ready to go.
You will be. I know you're down for NFL.
Yeah.
You're always down for the NFL part. So made that announcement the other day. We're going to be covering the first round of the NFL draft like we do annually, as well as the first round of the NBA draft, as we've been doing annually as well. Bringing you a lot of content, man. So let me see what Jeff's back in here. Gio, was Wemby a West starter snub? You think he was snubbed in your opinion? I gave my opinion already, but what do you think?
He needs to start. Come on. I mean, lightning rod and back. I mean, come on, dude. He's taller than the Eiffel Tower. Get this man in the starting lineup. It's just mind-boggling to me. But you put old LeBron James, and you basically put, you know what? LeBron James basically the Bronny James of the All-Star game. You know what I'm saying? Like his son, and you know what, Rudy? I have to say something. Bronny James, Rudy should not be. You know his stats this season during the NBA it's pretty terrible. And LeBron still wants him to just still play. But anyway, yes, he was snubbed. He should be in.
I mean, he should have been the starter. There's no way LeBron James should have been that starter. That's what I'm saying. I mean, Jeff's going to get me riled up again. We don't have another hour, that's for sure.
Because Rudy, they removed the how the positions are set up, right? For starters now, like you don't have to have a center, or do you have to?
It's positionless basketball.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So you don't have to but back in the old days, like you had the center, right? Shaq, you had the forward, you had these guys, Patrick. But now it's just like you just throw anybody in there. Okay.
Yeah. It's positionless basketball is what it is,
and no one's watching it. You know what? One more thing, Rudy. No one's really watching basketball these days. It's viewership is completely down. What do you think they should do, Rudy, before we leave?
To get viewership up? Well, you mentioned earlier 10-minute quarters. Well, if you're going to do 10-minute quarters, I don't want to see any more load management. I mean, there should be no more load management. You shouldn't be tired. You're playing the same quarter length as a high school game. I mean, no, there should be no more load management. Outside of that, I don't know, man. You can't get rid of the 3-pointer. I mean,
Rudy, sometimes I watch and at times it's very unwatchable. As someone who grew up in the 90s and watched a lot of NBA basketball and obviously the Spurs growing up, and it's just I just can't watch it's sad. I try to watch a full Spurs game and sometimes you got guys doing their own thing out there. Wemby should touch the ball every time. But to Jeff's point, maybe it is a thank you for your service. But he's probably playing next year. I mean, is it going to be a not every year thank you for your service?
I mean, at the end of their careers, Dirk wasn't a starter. Tim wasn't a starter. I mean, they were reserves. KG wasn't a starter. He was a reserve. So the nod on, hey, thank you for being, shoved down our throats for 20 years or whatever. Appreciate that. I don't know if it's a nod.
Well,
screw it. It's LeBron. Who cares?
I'm sure
Hopefully this is the last year.
The LeBron sexuals are pretty happy about it.
On that note, if you guys want to definitely go to YouTube, search Sweep the League TV, hit the subscribe button so you're not left out in the code with all the podcasts we've got going. Great in the Market is going to be back tomorrow. STL 316 is going to make a return tomorrow because we've got Royal Rumble on Saturday. We're going to preview a little bit of the Royal Rumble.
I wish I could make it, Rudy.
But no, you've got a prior commitment.
Yeah, I have prior commitment, but it is here in Indianapolis.
That's right.
So that would have been a nice but I do have plans, but if I could make it, I definitely would love to make it. But man, those tickets are pretty crazy.
They are really crazy and really pricey, but I think we're going to do a post Rumble review as well. So if you want to jump on that, by all means, go ahead on that. But we are going to do as much as we can for the Royal Rumble. And then we're going to be back also next week with more Sweep the League TV. Derek should be back. We'll try to get Gio back in a couple of episodes. That way we can all break down Super Bowl 59. Is that what it is? 59? I think it's Super Bowl 59.
3P, baby. Let's go.
Nah, I'm going for the Eagles already. I can tell you. I want Saquon to get that ring. Saquon needs that ring.
I want Patrick. He gets that three. I mean, Reed, 3 straight. We could say we lived through it. And
I can't even get a Falcon Super Bowl win before I die. And I want to say I lived through a Patrick Mahomes 3. No, sorry. I don't want
Do you think it's, I mean, he's already a Hall of Famer, but this just, it pretty much cements his place in Canton.
So he's a Hall of Famer, but if he three-peats, I would probably say he's damn near the GOAT at the quarterback position.
You would say the GOAT already.
At the quarterback position, probably.
Because if you look at his 10-year stretch,
almost.
If you look at his 10-year stretch compared to Tom's, I mean he's leads in almost he's almost every category.
Yeah.
And I just think obviously Tom played a long career. He also won 2 Super Bowl. I mean, with Tampa Bay for what it's worth. But if he gets to 3 and Rudy, if he wins another one, that's what 5. I mean, he's not going anywhere.
No, he's not.
Unless he starts acting like his dad, which I don't want to make any comments about, but he's here to stay.
Yeah, Mahomes does overtake Brady as the GOAT. I think if they three-peat, it's right there.
Yeah, it's there.
It's right there.
But a 3-peat is special, Rudy. I mean, we saw Shaq and Kobe do it. It's special.
Yeah, Brady get a shot at 3-peat. No, I don't think he ever did.
He won what they beat the Eagles in Carolina, and I don't think they won that.
They didn't get back a lot next year. Yeah, I don't think they did. So no, definitely not. We'll talk more Super Bowl next week here. Hopefully with Coach Gio, Derek Irvin will be back. That way we can talk more Super Bowl. Get you ready for Super Bowl 59. Eagles and Chiefs. We'll see if they're going to three-peat or if Saquon gets his first ring and hopefully not his last ring. But we'll see what happens there. Nonetheless, appreciate Coach Gio coming back on Sweep the League TV. Be sure to go to YouTube, hit that subscribe button to search Sweep the League TV. Smash that subscribe button so you're not left out in the cold here. So for Coach Gio, for Hall of Famer Derek Irvin, Rudy Campos Jr., until we sweep the league again, we'll see you later, Knuckleheads.
Vision on the court, watch my plays take action. Fast break, hustle, yeah, I'm built to compete. Defense locked in, I'm the soul of the street. Court vision crazy, I'm balling in the zone. Step back, jumper, yeah, I'm cold like stone. 2025 moves my game, got finesse. Leave it all on the floor, you know I'm the best.